My dear students, we are going to learn about T.S. Eliot and his one of the very famous poems, The Journey of the Magi. And before we move into the poem, let us know a little about the great playwright, poet, and a critic T.S. Eliot. His full name was Thomas Stearns Eliot. Thomas Stearns Eliot. And he was born in Missouri in USA in 1888. And from there, after his schooling, he went to Harvard University and he graduated in language and literature. And then after his graduation, he spent few of his years in European countries, that is France, Germany. And again, to study Indian philosophy, he came to Harvard University. And after he completed his studies in Harvard University, he went to London and he took up a job as a teacher for his livelihood in London. And after some time, he dropped that job of a teacher and he became a journalist and he started the journal called The Criterion. After some time, he has much interest in direction, so he joined the film production company Faber and Faber, and he became a British citizen in 1927. And during that time, his religious belief underwent a great change that was reflected in The Journey of the Magi. That was the poem we are going to see now. And also one more poem, that is Ashwanasti. And he was a visiting professor in Harvard University for so many years. And he developed his interest on a poetic drama. As a result, he produced The Murder in the Cathedral. That was the poetic drama he wrote. And The Family Reunion, The Confidential Clerk are notable among his plays. His last poetic work is The Four Quartet. The Four Quartets is the last poetic work. And T.S. Eliot was recognized as one of the greatest poets of 20th century. And he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1948. He was awarded Nobel Prize during the year 1948. So we will see that T.S. Eliot as a poet. T.S. Eliot's experiences in America and England shaped him a lot towards his poetic sensibility, and it enriched him with vivid imagination to write poems. His experiences, intellectual, philosophical, and spiritual, find echoes in all his poetry. And there are so many people influenced him to write poems. And who are those we will see? First one is Ezra Pound and the French symbolists, Dante's poetry, German philosophy. Those are the works which influenced him and which gave him a great impact to write so many poems. Eliot's major themes are drawn from his concern for the society in contemporary world. So what were the themes of his poems or any literary piece he produced? One is its boredom, horror, glory. And Eliot's early poems, Proof Rock and other observations, present the ugliness of modern urban life. So the early poems reflect the present ugliness of modern urban life. In the next phase, he wrote The Wasteland and The Hollow Man. There is a gloom and bleakness we could find in these poems that reflect the inner struggle and the gloom that T.S. Eliot himself underwent. The vision of a broken civilization, a decayed world, are presented through metaphor symbols in the wasteland and also the hollow man. The poet's search for spiritual solace reaches when he wrote The Journey of the Magi. His religious experience is so deep and he wrote on so many religious themes, and that is revealed in his poetic drama, that is Murder in the Cathedral. That's a play, religious play about Thomas Becket. And Eliot's contribution to poetry and drama is unparalleled. His prose work, especially his critical works, are great importance. His essay, Tradition and Individual Talent, explains his belief in the role of tradition in the poetic process, and his theories on objective correlative and impersonality of arts have continued to influence the literary world for any century. The last poetic work, that is Fort Quartets, his last phase revealed that his last phase of his writing career. He uses images and symbols in most of his works to illustrate what he felt about the society around him. And there is a musical quality we could notice in his poems. T.S. Eliot is a master craftsman, a poetic genius, a great innovator, and a modernist, but he believes in tradition. He is versatile and original in his choice of themes and structure and diction. That's why we could say that he is a universalist. And this is a brief introduction about T.S. Eliot, and I will meet you in the next session with the poem The Journey of the Magi. And there, T.S. Eliot gives an account of the journey undertaken by the Magi to see the nativity of Jesus Christ. It describes the experiences they had and recounts the effects of a newborn child in the mind of a Magi. Thank you for watching me.